Okay, if you're curious what song that was, that's Mozart Symphony 5. So, yeah. I'm doing What If Deku had an intelligence quirk. I'm giving a shout out to, Dragon Wrath. It's the one with that picture, so, yeah. Let's get started. Let's see. Well, for one, Deku is basically going to still have the same parents. So, if you were wondering that, yeah. Let's see. Sorry, it's pretty late out, so, yeah, it's like 11. It's 11, so, yeah. Well, for one, Deku's going to have some whitish hair because, genius usually comes with age, but with Deku, it's going to come automatically. So, yeah. Well, just seeing this little message gives me a couple of ideas. So, yeah. Kimberly Black is going to probably come in a couple of times during this. Because I'm light, he's the dark. So, yeah. But, yeah, it's freezing over here. I had no school whatsoever today. Yeah, because of a snowstorm that was happening all night. So, yeah. It's just freezing over here. Let's get started. If you can tell, if you were able to see me, I'm basically showing an emotionless face. Deku's mom is going to be dead in this way. Sorry, just had to move the chair a little bit. But yeah, Deku's mom is going to be dead. It's going to be an accident. His mom was a scientist. She had an intelligence quirk just like Deku is going to have. She died during one of her experiments, and it was take your kid to work day. And Deku was there. The experiment took his right arm. No, not right. His left arm. So, Deku wanted to get his arm back more than anything. Once his quirk developed, he discovered he could get it back. Not really get it back, but he still could get it back. So, he decided to just do some engineering. He's never tried it before, but he figured it out quickly. The program was really simple. It was a simple program at first. Basically, listing all the things that he would normally have to do with his left arm. Which is hardly anything. But, yeah. Just imagine it like... Oh, right, and the reason why I'm doing this What If is because of the season premiere of Rick and Morty! Finally! Season 4! Oh, I really want to curse, but yeah. But yeah, it's basically just going to be, really thin and robotic-ish. I mean, not robotic-ish, but it's basically going to be like a couple of poles and a little metal plate. Well, not metal plate, but a couple of metal plates stuck together, and some little poles for the fingers. You had to round one out somehow. He had to round, them out somehow, but he figured it out. So yeah, and he found all the wiring stuff and stuff like that. So yeah, he basically is he's going to be trying to upgrade it every so often. And since his dad's on a business trip, and his mom basically left him thousands of dollars. So, yeah, basically his mom left him thousands of dollars. And his dad's not going to be around for, just to make sure, because he didn't know that Inko has thousands of dollars. He just thought that the family was going to be poor and stuff like that. So, yeah. Just a little cold on my end, so if my voice is kind of stuttery, that's why. I mean, I'm doing this right by a window, and all the other rooms are taking up, and I don't want to wake anyone. So, yeah. Deku, that's just not going to be around. So, yeah, Deku's just going to have to improvise. He's basically just going to be looking up all the stuff that a kid his age needs. Because he's not going to know that offhand. Oh, by the way, the way his quirk works, he can learn anything in an instant, and he can basically, if he really wants something, the knowledge basically just starts coming to him. It's basically like, I forget what it's called, but it's basically that mythical library where certain people can go to figure things out. Apparently people can do that. But yeah, it's basically based around that. So, yeah. I don't know the name offhand, but yeah. Pretty much Deku is, since no one's going to be around, I'm going to say that Inko was a good friend with the Eraserhead. I forget his actual name, but yeah, Eraserhead's basically going to be taking care of Deku. So, yeah. Oh, and Inko basically was trying to do this chemical experiment on someone to test out a quirk. Well, not a quirk, but test out this really dangerous quirk. So, yeah. Pretty much, Deku is just going to be a big fan of his mom's work. She literally taught him as much as he could at a young age. And there's some benefits for his quirk. He basically has these weird wires at his back, and this little slot where he can put a flash drive. So, yeah. Basically, he has those areas. He basically has that stuff. Oh, he also can put a DVD in another slot he has in his back, but he can't see them. But yeah, it's basically he's able to plug into people's minds and gain their information. Only what he deems necessary. So he doesn't see their backstories. Anything his quirk deems as necessary, which basically any information is. So yeah, that's basically how his quirk's also going to work like that too. So theoretically, he's going to be a pretty strong hero if he decides to be, which that's up to you guys. I'm joking. I'm going to make a hero part and a villain part. So yeah, well, probably just a villain part, but yeah. Let's see. Deku is pretty much just going to be trying to learn all he can. Like, at the age of 8. Oh, this all happened when he was like 4, so yeah. But now, a 4-year jump. His arm's more like the one you see in this picture. This robotic arm. And he has a robotic eye now. Because he wanted to see things that normal people wouldn't be able to. And I'm going to be hearing, what's his relation with Bakugo? Basically, his relationship with Bakugo is going to be, somewhat like canon. Basically, Bakugo is going in that scene where Bakugo is bullying this kid and trying to beat up Deku, saying, Deku's basically going to say, you are really insignificant because, oh, and he's going to have glasses in this one. It's when he was like 4. So yeah, he built his robot arm when he was like 3. I mean 4, sorry. This all happened when he was 4, and he already has robot arm. So yeah, basically Deku is going to have glasses at that stage too. So Deku's pretty much just going to slide his glasses up and say, you're really weak, Bakugo. And basically, yeah, when he says that, Bakugo says, you quirkless loser, what are you going to do? Basically blowing up, his hand. And basically, once Bakugo blows Deku's, and, Bakugo basically puts his arm out and blows up Deku's left arm. And Deku says, this. And you only can see the robotic arm. It's not like the robotic arm you see in this picture, but it's almost there. It's almost like a real arm. Well, no, it's still like a pipe and stuff like that, so yeah. And Deku basically has this little, not gun, but this little BB gun, projectile thing. Like, it basically can shoot BBs at people. And Deku basically just, if you heard that, that was my sister's rabbit, so yeah. But, yeah. Basically, Deku shoots Bakugo in the side and keeps shooting him in the side, right around pressure points. I would say a couple of them hit pressure points because that BB gun is not the most accurate. And Deku says, darn, I meant to hit more pressure points. But that will do. That would do. That will do. And Bakugo would say, you have a quirk? BB gun? Or something like that. And Deku will say, no, it's not a quirk, more or less a enhancement. And basically, Bakugo would say, what happened to you? Basically, Deku is wearing gloves from then on and long sleeves, so yeah. And Deku would say, do you remember that incident that happened in the lab? And Bakugo would say, what incident? You mean that incident that happened when you went to take your child to work day? And Deku would nod his head and say, uh-huh. With his glasses, and raise his glasses. And it would basically make a glare. Basically taking that from Long Horizons. But yeah. Essentially, Deku is pretty smart and could probably take over the world if he chose to once he turned 8. But yeah. Essentially, Bakugo's just stopped messing with him after that. I don't know the exact age that they were. I'm pretty sure it was 4. Deku was 4. Sorry. Why do I have 3? Huh. It's weird, but for some reason I keep on the number 3 pops in my head. Probably because because last year I was probably it's probably because I was 13 last year, so there's a 3 in that. But yeah. Yeah. Deku is pretty much just going to be a kind guy that doesn't do it right. Basically, he can't read the room one bit. Like, he sees all the, best situations, but not taking anyone's emotions into account. So, yeah. Basically, like a robot. But yeah, just doing a time skip to 8. And, yeah, Deku has a fully formed robotic arm. I am not going to be able to list all the stuff that he has packed into that arm, but it's basically like, what are those called? A survival knife. It's basically like one of those little survival knife things, like those. You can flip up a knife. You can flip up a wrench, like one of those. I forget where it's from, but it's like a Swedish pocket knife or something like that. But yeah, can't think of the name right now. But yeah, I probably will be able to get a picture of those, but I don't feel like it right now. So yeah, basically Deku is going to have it basically reform into anything he wants. Basically like the Full Metal Alchemist with his blade arm, and Deku can get like a gun arm, a chainsaw arm, just by reforming it. It's way more advanced programming, but he figured it out. So yeah, and he actually can get a sniper rifle out of that arm because he has like a glass lens that can improve depending on what he chooses. And he also has a robotic eye that can see in infrared. So if I feel like that ship, I can do it. And all of you know what ship I'm talking about. But yeah, Deku has like little white streaks in his hair, if I didn't mention that at the beginning. But yeah, and Deku doesn't like his hair that messy, so he basically has this ponytail-like thing, too. So, yeah. And skip to the time villain. No, not sludge villain, but skip till he's 16. But yeah, basically skipping until he's 16 and the end of school. So yeah, he's basically going to raise his hand saying that he wants to go to UA. Well, no, not raise his hand saying he wants to go to UA. The teacher basically says Bakugo wants to go to UA, and says, "Oh right, Deku, didn't you want to go to UA?" And the entire class starts laughing at him. Besides Bakugo saying, the entire class is saying, "What can he do? He's quirkless." And Deku says, "No, I'm not." And basically shows some wires coming from his back because he's visibly angry. And they're saying, "Oh, wait, he has wires. What's that going to do?" And Deku says, "This." Basically hacks into their brains and paralyzes them. And they basically lose all motor functions for a full day. Basically a virus he figured out how to do. So, yeah. And Deku also says, "Oh, right." And he uncovers his sleeve, for his left arm, and takes his glove off. And basically says this. And basically a little tube starts popping out of his arm. And you only can see red in it. And it goes, and Deku says, "Flamethrower." And then a little bit of fire comes out because he has it set on, and he says also set on, not easy, but set on low. Basically, it's just going to be like a little bit of a fire that he has in his hand, basically threatening them all. Basically saying, you are a villain, aren't you?" And Deku says, "No, I'm not a villain, but a few physical enhancements won't hurt." And basically he also bumps his right eye and says, "You are really scared, aren't you?" Because, all he has to do is bump the side of his head to see see an infrared. I feel like list any other, what's it called, but, never mind. Basically, things that, like, bees and stuff like that can see, like, different animals can see, and I know there's infrared, and that's basically it. But yeah, basically, Deku is that, well, basically crowning above them, saying, "You are really scared, aren't you?" That's what happens when I show a bit of my power. And basically just plugs one of his wires into their head and says, "Erase." And erases that memory. And everyone in the class is shocked that Deku can erase people's memories, and they don't know that he can gain them, but they also are shocked that he can paralyze people. Oh, and it's a virus that the body can naturally fend off instantly. Yeah, it's basically a mind virus that the body can fix off in 24 hours. But yeah, the teacher is saying, "Deku, you have a freaking quirk." The entire class is saying this. And Deku says, "Uh-huh." Basically moving his glasses up, and you can see a shine in them. And they're all scared at this point. They forgot, everyone but Bakugo didn't know that he had that robot arm. And they didn't know he even had a quirk. Bakugo didn't know that either. He was actually kind of surprised, but he says that's how he built that so quickly. And Bakugo is saying, "Oh, you did some improvements on that arm?" And Deku says, "Yeah, what's it to you? Want me to figure out how to do your legs so you can fly properly?" And Baku would say, "How did you know I was trying to fly?" And Deku would say, "It's obvious. It's the only thing you can do with your quirk besides destruction." And he rolls his eyes. And Baku would say no, but he basically would want to... He's basically saying that it's impressive that he could get his robot arm that developed by himself. And the entire class is saying, "He did that by himself?" And Deku would say, "Yeah, so what? It's only some minor enhancements." And they all would say, "Minor? You have a freaking flamethrower!" And Deku would say, "I also have a chainsaw, a grenade launcher, and a sword. Plus, I also have a literal minigun in this arm." Basically, bumps it, hits it, and a minigun comes out. And he basically just lifts his arm up into the air and then just starts firing. Like, everyone's wondering why he did that. And he bumps it again. And he throws a flash grenade. Bumps it again. And it turns into a chainsaw. And you only can hear... And bumps it again. And it just turns back into a normal arm, but with a sword connected to it. And Deku would basically slice in the air pretty quickly. And Deku would show off his other arm, which is completely ripped. Like, seriously, I would say that he's probably about... He's probably like 5'12" at this point. So basically, yeah, 6'5". But yeah. And he's only 16. But yeah. So, yeah. Deku would basically say, "I have an intelligence quirk. I can gain data from anyone, and I can send them viruses for their brains. Plus, I can erase their memories like a computer." And basically says, "If you want, I can erase this whole situation." Like, this is the first time I've ended up doing that to the entire class. And they all would say, "What do you mean?" And he basically would say, "Well, one time when I was getting out the kinks of this arm, I accidentally set off like 20 grenades in a minigun. In the minigun. Good luck. Good thing it was only rubber bullets at that stage." And they're all, just really surprised that he did that. But yeah. Basically, Bakugo says, "Give me that notebook." And Deku would say, "Sure, whatever," and rolls his eyes. And Bakugo looks at the notebook, and it lists everyone's quirks and the best enhancement they could get. And Deku and Bakugo says, "Do you see us all as lab rats?" And Deku would say, "Yeah, I see you. At least I see you as that kind of people, not like the others. I only see them as guinea pigs." That was when I was first getting to know you guys. And this is all before UA, but yeah. So Deku basically grabs his notebook, puts it in his arm, and basically just walks home. Bakugo's pissed at this point, and yeah. God, it's already been 26 minutes. But yeah, this is a little bit of a fun one. But yeah, people are going to be surprised a lot in this one about what Deku can do. So, yeah. Oh, and he's at his peak physically. Theoretically, once he turns 20, he's going to have time travel. Once he turns 25, I'm going to say, he's going to have multiverse theory on lock. But yeah. Sorry, my mom just had, to do something, so she interrupted the video real quick. I gave her, I told her to knock twice because I was making this video, but yeah. So, yeah. Pretty much, Deku, I forgot to mention, when he was 8, he made his own company. He wears this little mask type thing, so no one knows it's him. And, yeah, Eraserhead still is going to be, his guardian. So, yeah. Deku is pretty much just going... Okay, let's get back. Deku's taking a shortcut because he sees it's the most optimal way to get home as quick as possible. Because he doesn't need to go to the store or anything like that, so he just took that way. And, yeah, Deku's tested this route out before to see if it was actually quicker. Because he had nowhere to go but home. And he really wanted to try inventing something new. He saw the sludge villain try getting out of the sewers. And he basically said, "Give me your body." And Deku said, "Nope, but I can take yours over, right?" And basically jacks, one of his plugs into the sludge villain, and basically erases all of the sludge villain's memories. And the sludge villain, besides all of the good memories and stuff like that, well, not even that, but basically erases all the memories besides him knowing how to talk, and implants into the sludge villain's mind that Deku saved him from something that he doesn't know. So the sludge villain's going to be under his rule. Pretty much, it's basically what if Deku had a hypnosis quirk wrapped into what if Deku had an intelligence quirk. But yeah. If you want to know the net profit, I might give that in the next video. But yeah. Do not know if this is going to be an hour-long video. I checked the time, but yeah. Let's see. All Might comes out of the sewers. And, Deku doesn't erase the memories, basically puts it into a storage type system in the sludge villain's mind. But yeah, so Deku's basically going to have the sludge villain as a lab rat. And there's a really old reference, but yeah. Deku is pretty much going to tell All Might, you should go. Because we are going to be doing an experiment of some kind. Finally, I get to do this on a villain without anyone's permission. And All Might says, what did you do to that sludge? What did you do to the sludge villain? Who are you? And Deku basically says, oh right, you wouldn't recognize me without the mask. And Deku basically just pulls a little sheet out, and then, and basically pulls it in both directions, and plunks it on his head, and it basically wraps completely around his head. And Deku says, do you recognize me now, Toshinori? And All Might would say, you're that vigilante that steals all villains. I'd say 18-year-old. And Deku would say, oh, you flatter me, All Might. I'm actually only 16. And Toshinori is basically just shocked that he even knows the name. And All Might basically asks, what's your name? I mean, what's your Quirk's name? And Deku says, nothing. It's basically just an intelligence quirk. That's all you need to know. And he points to the arm. Just some biological enhancements. I mean, the human body can do only so much. This is not villain. This is not hero. Vigilante. It's basically can go either way at this point. But yeah, essentially Deku is planning on being a hero, but one that does experiments on villains. Saying, they don't have a right if they attack me, do they? I mean, I always find trouble somehow. That's the curse of being a genius in an idiotic world, isn't it? I mean, you should especially know with all the secrets you keep, Toshinori. I mean, seriously. That whole debate about to all for one and one for all. I mean, it's clear that both are equal in some aspects. One steals quirks, the other gains power by each generation, either by force, or you can give your quirk by force, can't you? If I remember correctly. Been studying on that quirk for years. And it also stockpiles powers. So if you give the quirk to me, you'll upgrade my quirk, but you'll also be giving the next generation, I would say even my generation, isn't it like generation 9 at this point, a serious boost, because the next person you give your quirk to, they'll gain all of the previous successors' quirks. So, yeah, I'm clearly the obvious pick. And Toshinori says, no, how do you even know this? And Deku says, you know, the villainous underground is not that big, and the heroist above ground is not that big either. And and Toshinori basically asks, what do you mean? And Deku basically says, follow me. And he takes him to a factory, puts a different mask on, and basically says code 045. And everyone's shocked. I mean, the And some people are shocked. Well, the secretary's for sure shocked, but yeah. Essentially, yeah, they are taking Deku into a subterranean base, saying, since, it's basically because, sorry, that whole thing messed me up earlier, but, basically messed up my continuity, but, yeah. I had to wait like 5 minutes, but for me to even do this, restart this video, but, I'm just going to cut it right here. See you guys later.